Okay, so hello everyone, all the participants. On behalf of Forum for Democracy, I extend a warm welcome to all of you. This is our first session for day 8 of the certificate course on testing and a thrilling panel discussion on the topic, which almost all of us have been looking forward, and that is gender equality and fluidity. Gender equality, what it is. It is a state of equal ease of access to resources and opportunities, regardless of gender, including economic participation and decision making, and the state of valuing different behaviors, aspirations, and needs equally. But how far are we able to see such ideal type in our real lives? Are we able to? Yeah, we are not able to, rather. So, is gender a very watertight, compartmentalized concept? Is it just about being a male or a female? The answer is indeed a big no. In fact, how one identifies oneself can change every moment. Gender exists on a spectrum and cannot be confined to binaries. It is a non binary and a fluid concept. But what we have been doing as societies and economies, so what we do, we compartmentalize gender into what is normal and what is not normal, as per our power dynamics, as per what has suited to the ruling elites since time immemorial. So it is against this backdrop and to smash the compartmentalization in our own minds and around us, we have a very important panel discussion by our honorable guests, Mr. Anurag Chauhan and Ms. Sonal Mehta. And I must say, our students have been waiting for this particular panel discussion more than any other session. So before I start the session, I would take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed speakers. Mr. Anurag Chauhan, as we all know and also seen him at various forums, is a social worker and founder of Humans for Humanity, a non-governmental organization headquartered in Dehradun. He is also the founder and festival director of Dehradun Literature Festival. He is widely known for his social work, particularly with regards to menstrual hygiene. So in 2015, Anurag started a project called WASH, that is Women's Sanitation and Hygiene, that works to educate women about menstrual hygiene, providing them sanitary napkins, and also training them to make biodegradable sanitary napkins. Anurag runs awareness programs in many villages, slums, schools, colleges of Uttarakhand, Delhi, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. So during nationwide lockdown, the efforts of Humans for Humanity has come as a great help to women who have been taught how to make sanitary napkins. It has given them a new level of empowerment. Anurag is a true example of how youth of India are breaking the stereotype associated with menstrual hygiene by touching lives of those who need awareness and by having a will to do a positive change. He has also been conferred with many awards such as Karmveer Chakra Award by United Nations, Bharat Nirman Award, Delhi Achievers Award, and also International Women Empowerment Award by our own Ministry of Women and Child Development. So a very warm welcome to you, Anurag. We are really honored to have you here. Our second speaker is Ms. Sonal Mehta, who is one of the 6 regional directors overseeing 9-country family planning associated in South Asia region at International Planned Parenthood Federation that stands and works for ensuring that every human being has complete choice and quality care for sexual and reproductive health. With over 3 decades of experience in sexual health and development, she is skilled in programmatic management, which includes planning, designing, and development of various programs. She is known in Indian and global fraternity for her path-breaking work with transgender, LGBTQA, and MSM communities by establishing and strengthening their 200 small and big organizations across the country. She has also experience of working with government's AIDS control program at state and national levels. So a hearty welcome to Sonal Mehta ji for joining this session with our students today. Before we begin this session, I would request students to follow the same set of instructions which have been provided to them before. And now I may please request our panelists to start with the panel discussion. So over to you, Anurag.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sachi. It was great when I heard about the efforts of FFD, and when I heard about this course, I was really excited to know what's actually happening, and I'm even more excited because Sonal and I happen to be friends, and it brings us. I mean, it's very rare that we get to meet. There has to be some or the other reason to meet. So I think this is another reason that we're meeting and we'll be able to see each other. I'd like to congratulate Forum for Democracy for organizing this to sensitize the students of Delhi University of Mata Sundari College. And I think this is how this is the beginning of everything that we want to do. We first of all need to start talking about it and spreading awareness about it. Now, starting the session, I would like to tell you a little bit about how we started and what is that we are doing. Of course, Sonal will be giving you a very, very vast idea of what she's doing because, to be very honest, when I was asked to speak along with her, I was very honest and I told them that, why me? Because she's the one who has an expertise in this field and she's been working for very long. In fact, the first time I met her was at a transgender festival that she organizes. Okay, so Humans for Humanity is an organization that I had started in 2015. Well, this organization was working even before that, and there was no clarity while we were working on this. In 2015, we started a project called Wash Women Sanitation Hygiene, and that's where everything came into one line. This is the line that I want to work in, this is what I want to do. And when I went on the field, when we talk about women empowerment today, I'd like to start with something very beautiful that my mother told me many years ago. When I was growing up as a child, women empowerment was a new word. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone it's become fashionable today to talk about it. But at that point of time, it was something new. And I went up to my mother saying that I'm just waiting to grow up. I'm waiting to be someone so that I can empower you. The next thing my mother did was said, why don't you go out and get two bricks? Eat leke aao bahar se. And I thought there's something wrong and I'm probably getting some punishment. She tied the bricks around my waist and asked me to take 10 rounds of the garden. And on the seventh round, I fell on the ground and I said, I can't do it. Why are you punishing me? What did I say? Did I say something wrong? And that's when she told me that you were much heavier than these two bricks, and I carried you in my stomach for 9 months. When you came out of my body, you tore me apart, and the pain that I went through is something that I don't regret, but is something that you is unbearable for a person like you. And I was quiet. What did I say? I mean, what did I just hear? So she told me very clearly, without even saying anything to me, she explained to me that there's no way that you can empower me. I'm empowered. Since then, whatever I do, I do not work to empower someone. I do not work to do some. I mean, why empower them? Maybe acknowledge them is the right word that I like saying that. Okay, acknowledge them, be a part of their journey, be a part of their life, and I think that's how we treat them equal. Now, the work that we do, it makes me feel upset about what's happening in our country. And not just in our country, everywhere in this world. We have become hypocrites. We have become hypocrites because on one side, we are talking about women empowerment. On the other side, we are not considering that there 180,000 women are dying of poor menstrual hygiene and many other issues revolving around this issue. And this was an article in 2011 which said 180,000 women. That's a huge number. Now I imagine to myself, even if we want to empower them, how is that we'll empower them if we can't even save their lives to begin with? What Humans for Humanity is doing, in very brief 5 points, I'll tell you. The first thing situation is because when I go on the ground and I work with these women I talk to them. They're girls who cry, they're girls who do not know what menstruation is given to us. By calling menstruation a curse, their family is not just referring to menstruation as a curse, but they're referring to the gender. Her being woman is a curse, is what she's been told from the very. So it is very important to tell them you menstruate, what is the biological reason of menstruation. A lot of girls go under trauma because they do not know what menstruation is, and that leads to so many confusions in their mind. I'll tell you a small incident from Saharanpur. A girl called Radhika came running and hugged me all of a sudden in the middle of in a conversation. And I was taken aback for a moment because not usually in India girls come and hug you all of a sudden. And I asked her, I said, "What's your problem?" And she was crying. She told me that she slept for 10 days for the first time when she was menstruating, thinking that she's about to die. Now she's thinking she's about to die because no one told her what menstruation is and why she's bleeding. She's thinking to herself, this is some disease and I'm going to die. I should not share it with my parents because they will cry. They will be upset if I tell them. So this is the state of our country. So it's very important to tell them why it happens to them. The second thing that we're working is on nutrition. Even today, if you go in the rural areas and if there's a son and a daughter at home, the mother will think that the male child needs more food than a female. Nutrition wise, I'm not talking about quantity, but the quality of food that they're getting. So, nutritionists tell these women and men about the kind of food they should be eating, and to women what they should be eating during their periods and otherwise. The third thing is counseling. As I told you in the first point, the girls undergo trauma. It is very important to give them counseling because a lot of these girls and women don't have anyone to talk with. This is a topic where they've been told that you should not bring this topic outside your toilet. You should not bring this topic outside your underwear. You just keep it there. So it is very important that someone speaks with them. So counseling is very important, not just for the young girls, but also for the women who are dealing with menopause. The fourth thing is making them use sanitary napkins, because even today in our country, women are using sand, ash, I don't know what all, everything, anything and everything that can absorb the liquid is being used by women to protect themselves because they consider it a dirty process. For them, using a dirty cloth is better than using a clean cloth. No one told them that, this can give you infection. You'll die one day because of this. So we give them free sanitary napkins to use so that they can get used to it. But at the same time, we do not encourage them that we will be giving you these sanitary napkins for our lifetime. Affordability is a big issue, but at the same time, we do not want them to be dependent on us. So the fifth point, we teach them how to make sanitary napkins. When we teach them how to make sanitary napkins, they're independent. They do not need to ask someone. They do not need to be dependent on someone that person will go and get me sanitary napkins. Just a week ago, I was in Tiri and we were doing a menstrual hygiene workshop in one of the villages. And my mother asked me, she said, why are these women not wearing masks? All of them should be wearing masks. What if something happens to them? And I told them, आप लोगों ने mask नहीं पहना है, the women who were not wearing masks. You know what they told me? They said, हम अपने गांव से बाहर नहीं निकले कभी. These are women who are 50 years of age, 40 years of age, 30 years of age. They're telling me, हम अपने गांव से ही बाहर नहीं निकले भैया, हम घर से बाहर नहीं निकलते. आपको तो कोरोना में आप घर के अंदर बंद हो, हम तो वैसे ही अपने घर के अंदर बंद रहते हैं. हम अपने गाय को चारा खिलाते हैं, हम अपने बच्चों को खाना बनाते हैं, अपनी सफाई करते हैं, लेप करते हैं. So these are women who have not got out of their houses and villages. Now I thought that this is a joke, so I asked each one of them individually how many of them actually has seen Dehradun, because Dehradun is not very far away from Tiri. I said, कौन से शहर में गए हो? There are women, imagine, who have not seen a city. They have only lived within their village. They have not seen the territory outside this village. So in this scenario, we also teach them how to make sanitary napkins. what happened during the lockdown is that you must have heard sanitary napkins were not included in the essentials list. And at that point of time, urban women were facing a lot of issues. But so many thousands of women that we have trained in over 5 years, they were making their own sanitary napkins and not dealing with any issue. In fact, women in Maharashtra and Rajasthan were making, I'm talking about rural women, were making sanitary napkins so that they can send in the urban areas. Now, people say that abhi to everything. This is what I hear very often, that now there's a film on it. There are people who are talking about it. I think everyone is aware. The problem is that we still do not realize that people like you and me are the 30% population living in the urban areas. 65% to 70% population is still living in the rural areas of India today. Out of the 30% population living in the urban areas, we are the privileged ones, say consider 15% privileged ones who know about it. The rest 15%, they're living in the slums. They're living in the small urban villages who are not aware about these things. And out of that 15%, it's 1% of people who choose to speak about it. Rest, they all believe it should not be talked about. It is something that we should not be discussing, but not realizing how many women are we losing because of this. If we really want to empower them, we have to begin with telling them that, this is something as basic as anything else. It is natural. It is not a punishment. Well, you all are girls. Let me ask you one question of ignorance. I've been to a lot of colleges and I've asked these questions to girls. If there's anyone who knows the answer, please raise your hand and tell me. When you go out and you buy makeup, you're always concerned about one thing, that our lipstick, that our cream, that our powder, whatsoever you're using on your face should not leave any kind of pimple or any kind of rash on your face. You're always concerned about it. But when you buy a sanitary napkin, you just buy a sanitary napkin. You never care to ask the chemist, what is the kind of chemical used in this? What is the kind of plastic used in this? What is the material that the sanitary napkin is made of? Do you know? Because we never ask. And so, let me tell you, the unawareness is not just in the rural areas, it's also in the urban areas. So, we all need to start from here. The beginning, if you've not talked about it before, talk now. If you don't want to spread awareness about it, if you don't want to go outside of this place, just make sure that women in your house and men in your house are aware of menstruation so that they can help someone ahead. I've been often asked this question, that you are a man, why do you need to talk about all these things? These are women issues. I said, what is a women issue? They say menstruation. I said, I thought it was a natural phenomena. I didn't know it was an issue. So menstruation is not an issue. Poor menstrual hygiene is an issue. The bigger issue is that we are all dealing with stupidity. We are all dealing with the garbage which is here. And it's moving, it's changing, but at the snail's pace. Now, let me tell you, I'm wearing a dupatta and a kurta. I often wear rings. It was early morning, I couldn't find my rings. Otherwise, I would have dressed up and come here. For all you girls, I'm sure you all love fashion, so do I. When I was growing up in school, I was asked this question very often, that you're a boy, why are you interested in fashion? This was a stupid question asked to me again and again and again. There was a time when I changed the way I dress. And today, when I wear this dupatta and I go out, I cannot walk on the street. I cannot walk on the street because either they think I'm a joker or they think I'm an exhibition. Well, whatever it may be, I'm sure they're enjoying whatever they're seeing because I'm happy with the way I dress up. But what I'm trying to make a point here is that anything which is little different from the ordinary, which is little different from the stereotype is either called wrong or abnormal. I've been often asked this question, Anurag, are you gay? They often ask me this question, are you interested in men? Are you interested in men and women? And I always tell them this question. I'll tell you a funny incident. A few days back on my Instagram, so I mean, of course, I get a lot of trolling on Instagram, not that I care about it, but on one of the posts where I was wearing a shawl, a woman asks me, she says, this was a woman who asked me this question. She said, are you a man or a woman? And this was a question asked in Hindi. She said, "Aap nar hain ya mada?" Then I asked her, of course, I was smiling when I saw her comment, but I asked her a question there. I said, are you looking for um, a groom for yourself? I mean, you would probably ask me this question if you're looking for someone. I said, are you looking for a groom? Well, I'm not interested in getting married. And if you're interested, you must go on to shaadi.com. That was the message I wrote to her. But I often think about this. Why is this happening? It's not one person who's getting affected by the mindset that we have in our country. You know what happens is when a man whistles at a woman, the other friends around with him will never tell him that you're doing wrong. Will never say that this is not right. When a woman is teasing a gay or a transgender person on the street, the other friends will never tell her that this is too much, stop it here, this is wrong. But if I, being a third person, being a third boy, is whistling at his sister, his girlfriend, his mother, his friend, he will be burning. A man will be burning with fire. If I do the same thing to your girlfriend of Mata Sundari College, I come outside your college and I whistle at a girl, the other girls will be upset about it because she's her friend. We only care about things because they are people who are ours, whom we consider that this is our friend, this is our mother, this is our sister. But where is the humanity? Why don't we care about other people as well? I have seen so many instances where men, women, everyone, they just tease a transgender at the red light. They don't want to give him money. They don't want to help him. They don't want anything. I have literally seen this on Mulchand metro station. The red light there, a transgender came in and a husband and wife were driving, asked her, naach ke dikha. They did not give her money even then, but they want to tease her. They wanted to misbehave with her. I wish that red light existed for long so that I could come, get out of my car and speak with them. But before I planned to do that, the car moved. But this is happening everywhere and it will only stop. Everything that is going wrong because we, being the society, we being the part of the society, we are ignoring it at some place. The moment we stop ignoring it, I think a lot of things will become better. Now at this point, I would like to invite Sonal Mehta. I call her Sonal, but let me tell you, she's a very, very senior professional who's working in this field for many years. I think she will give you a very fair and a very vast idea about gender, about equality, about everything else around it, because she's the one who's actually working on the field. She's the one who's actually changed lives of so many people. And it gives me immense pleasure that she's a friend, because each time I see her work, it gives me immense happiness. I feel really touched with the kind of work that she does. There's so many transgenders whom I tell them, the moment I tell them that I know Sonal, that's exactly when they come, they hug me. Oh, you know her. So, Sonal, please go ahead. Thank you so much for being here.
Dr. Ruchi, should I wait for you to say?
Not at all, ma'am. Please go ahead. We are waiting
Okay.
for you for long.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And I'm sorry I logged in later. So like Anurag said, Anurag is a dear, dear friend. We share a lot of funny, nice, interesting moments together. But I do want to thank Forum for Democracy. I think this is a very critical issue on which all students are coming together, and I see we are 74 of us are online. So I am going to request some actions from all of you. So please be around your computers if you're not. As Anurag also tried to kind of say, okay, raise your hand. I'm also going to say that. Because all of you are, Anurag has spoken quite well, and you have been talking about gender. I am assuming I'm not going to speak so much about women and empowerment. I will focus on transgender related issues. I have been working with transgenders for about 20 years now. And the first time I came across somebody who was gay was, I will show my age if I tell you the year, but was in 1992. I was working in US in 1997. I was working in US, and a good friend of mine called Ashok Rao Kavi had come home in US in Los Angeles. And I remember my nieces and nephews, they were really young. They were kind of staring at him from the stairs. How does an Indian gay man look? And from then, when I came back to US, we started working together directly, indirectly. I was working in AIDS Control Society then, and that's where my journey of knowing this world started. I will ask you one question that my colleague, and I always call them my teachers, the transgender colleague, asked me, does anybody know where transgenders live? Can anybody raise their hand? Yes, students, time for action. Yeah, nobody knows, right?
No,
if anybody
ma'am.
knows, yeah. You don't, kid. Thank you for speaking up. Anybody else? No.
In
Okay.
their home, ma'am?
That's very smart. Yes, but where is their home? You know where does Amitabh Bachchan live?
Ma'am, are there any segregated areas?
Ma'am, from what I've heard, we used to have a domestic help. He was a transgender man. So once when my baby brother was born, so there is a ritual where transgenders come to your home to dance.
Yes,
So
yes.
he just ran away from that event because he did not want to be seen by them.
Yes.
So from what my mother told me and from what I've heard is that that they are, when the babies are taken away and they're raised in separate societies and they're raised in separate areas and they're brought up and groomed there.
Okay, great. This is all what we have heard, and I will come to how this used to be. सालों पहले there were डेरास, अभी भी है, लेकिन there are so many transgender you see who are educated. As somebody said, they live in their homes, yes, but where are their homes? So my colleague said that you would have seen transgender on street, you would have seen, आपके आजू बाजू कहीं नहीं रहते transgender, कहीं तो रहते होंगे वो. They must have a house, they must have a home. But because, and yes, they have datas, and yes, they have houses where there are more transgender, but there are transgenders who are now living independently with their parents everywhere. But because we are not used to seeing them, we don't see them. Because so like Abhina, my very close associate, she keeps saying that transgender is the most visibly invisible people. We look at them, but we don't see them. We don't see them as human beings. That's point number one I want to place. Keep looking for them and you will find them. Not just at the signals, not just at the signals, mind you, in many, many large chain of supermarkets, if you really observe, there are some of them there. But as I said, we don't see that. Anyway, so which is a good thing because now they are able to study because of the schools like you. I guess it is good that there are more opportunities created. Tenzing says there is one transgender family that named near my home. Fantastic, Tenzing. Please, if possible, befriend them. They are really nice people. They're very, very jovial. That is one strong thing. So what is transgender? A lot of people say the babies are taken and they are groomed. There is one baby who has biological deformity, who is a born transgender in a million. If you look at transgender, they are not just one, there are many of them. And so basically transgenders are, by sex, they might have one. So the way we call it, it's a wrong soul trapped in a wrong body. Often my soul might be of a girl, but I'm born in a body of a boy. And that, I mean, I don't know how many of you are right-handed or left-handed, but if you try to write with your opposite hand, you see how uncomfortable it is. If your soul is trapped in the wrong body, you can only imagine how uncomfortable it would be. Every day, every moment, you feel that there's something not right with yourself. And that is what the transgenders are. Most of the transgender, you see trans women, hijra or kind of, even if they have not taken the read, they are, many of them, I won't say all, but most of them are born in a male body who then transition. The trans men are born, the soul of a boy, born in the woman body who then transition. Again, all of you, most of you might be young, or even if you're not young, you're all young at heart. You would remember whatever you did not like when you were young, your parents tried to feed you. Pattedar sabji khani hai, ye khani hai, and how terrible you used to feel. Just keep on thinking of things that kept on making you uncomfortable. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey, as Anurag said actually. I used to be the executive director of an organization called Alliance India, and that's where I started my journey with transgender. And we wanted to run a national-wide, large men who have sex with men, so gay and other men who have sex with men, and transgender project. We were wanting to identify 745,000, 7,45,000 MSM transgender. Okay, we wanted to identify, support them with HIV education, HIV testing, all of that. And my first question was, so where do I start? How do I start? And the obvious answer to me is, I'm not going to find a transgender. If you go out, Tenzing knows one family, but if I ask him to find 100, will he be able to do? Will anybody of you be able to do? Ramita's mother kind of got transgender people to dance when young child is born, but that would be 7, 8, 10. 100 transgender, if I have to find hundreds of transgender, I have to go to transgender and ask them to find. So obviously I started calling people and say, do you know any transgender who is educated? Who can? And to my surprise, there are people. So Abina Aher, who used to be my director, she was associate director actually in the organization. She is now, was a postgraduate. Then there was another person, somebody told me, Simran is also very good. Anurag is smiling because he knows all of these people. So somebody gave me Simran's number. I called her and I said, Simran, I'm Sonal Mehta, I'm from Alliance India, would you come and work for us? And she immediately said, oh, I'll call you back. And then she called somebody and I told that so-and-so has given me your number. That time that person used to be with a male name, now she's Zainab. So I said, Zainab gave me a number. So she called Zainab, said, is there a person called Sonal Mehta? Is there an organization called Alliance India? You know why? Because she was begging in the train at that time. She never thought any organization will give a job to a transgender. And I think that is the sadness of, that is the reality of our life. Okay, I just see a question in the chat box. And in fact, I also wanted to raise that question. Is it natural to be, is it abnormal to be transgender? The ones with a singular identity are the ones who are abnormal, actually. You're right, Nandini ji. But is it natural to be a transgender? Tell me. What do you think? Is it natural? Yes, Kirti ji?
Yes, ma'am. It's completely a natural process.
Why? Then why aren't we all transgender?
Ma'am, it depends upon the process of those chromosomes and upon the sperms and all those things which we are studied in biology.
Okay. So, Kirti, I want to stop you there.
Okay.
There is nothing to do with genes and chromosomes. This is another very popular myth. कि आपके जीन में कोई खोटे इसलिए आप ट्रांसजेंडर बन गए. No.
No, ma'am, not about gene, about chromosomes and sperms, like X,
No.
X and Y.
Correct. That's what I said. XXY is 1 in million. Biology has nothing to do with. So let me ask you a quick question. What is, somebody else also had raised hand, but I will just ask you, tell me, what is, I'm sure you are gender studies students. What is the difference between sex and gender? What is sex and what is gender?
Ma'am, sex is basically a biological.
Kirti, if you don't mind, can somebody else answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Dhwani, yes, go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am a second year student of political science.
Hi.
So by far, what we have studied is, sex is a biological thing. Okay, we
Correct.
are born as a male or female. That is our sex.
Correct.
And gender is a social construct. It is created by the society. It's up to me if I am born a girl, but it's up to me if I want to be a man.
थोड़ा और बताएंगे? ये तो standard definition है. हमने social work में भी ऐसे सीखा था. It's a social construct. Okay, hold on, Dhwani. I'm going to ask Latika. Latika, explain me a little more. What is the difference between sex and gender? Yes, gender is a social construct. Sex we are born with. So what does it mean?
Good evening, ma'am.
Very good
evening, ma'am. Ma'am, sex जो है ये सही है कि ये biological term है. मतलब जब एक बच्चा पैदा होता है तो उसको दो कैटेगरी में रख दिया जाता है कि of course there is transgenders but mainly या तो स्त्री होगी या पुरुष होगी. मतलब जो उनकी यौनिक और प्रजनन अंगों में अंतर होता है.
एक मिनट लतिका, स्त्री और पुरुष सेक्स वर्ड, सेक्स से रिलेटेड वर्ड है या जेंडर से रिलेटेड वर्ड?
मैम, स्त्री और पुरुष सेक्स से रिलेटेड वर्ड है.
Okay, hold on, please hold on. Shreya, do you want to say something on this?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ बताइए.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, as everyone said, sex is related to biology and it is determined by our sex. But gender is something which is created by the society according to the characteristics and traits of a person. Like if a girl is, if a person is walking fast and its physique is, ma'am, it is basically it is based on the characteristics and traits.
Hold on, Shreya. All of you are students. You need to answer me a little more scientifically than this. ये तो आप play person की language में मुझे बोल रहे हो. Okay, let me just quickly respond to this. Ramita, I'm going to go a little fast, so I will move if you don't mind. So all of you are correct, absolutely correct. Sex is biological. Gender is social construct. Stree or purush is a gender construct. Nar or mada. Anurag was giving you a hint when he spoke. मुझे किसी ने पूछा कि आप नर हो या मादा हो. Is a स्त्री अपने आप immediately आपके जहन में आ जाएगा कि there is a sari and there is a lamba baal and all that. Stree and purush is a social construct. Nar and mada is a sex contract, is a biological. So बहुत ही broadly 3 factors हैं जो sex के हैं. One, sex is universal. America की woman, India की woman, Bangladesh की woman, all women have women. They have womb, they have boobs, they have breasts, all women. It's universal. Second, it is time neutral. जन्मेगी तब से मरेगी तब तक, it is same. And third, it is by birth. Unless you physiologically change, these 3 characteristics are related to sex. Everything else, इसमें ना तो किसके साथ हमें सेक्स करना है, उसको मैं अट्रैक्ट करूंगी, कैसे मैं दिखनी चाहिए, nothing comes in that biology. How should I look? Should I wear my shirt because I'm a woman and Anurag can take out his kurta because he is a man. Kahin bhi nahi hai ye biology. This is everything is a gender construct. Transgender के situation में यही है. If God wanted to make natural, so a lot of people tell me, and because of the time sensitivity, I'm going to go a little fast. A lot of people tell me, oh, they are abnormal, where we are supposed to. Does people know how gay men or transgender women or all have sex? Can somebody tell me quickly? How do they have sex? I'm sorry, I hope, madam, I'm not making your session impolite, but I think it will help to relate.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Very
okay.
important.
Thank you. So they have anal sex. Again, English में इतना बुरा नहीं लगता बोलना, because our language is not used to giving sex education. हिंदी में बोलो तो गुदा मैथुन, ये थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगता है गालियाँ दे रहे हैं. लेकिन that is how popularly, again, there is vaginoplasty and all that. वो करते हैं. So a lot of people tell me कि actually गुदा में से तो बाहर निकलना चाहिए मल, उसमें आप अगर पेनिस डालो तो वो ठीक नहीं है. But if God wanted to stop it, God might have stopped. God यानी whatever, supernatural power, जो भी जिसमें भी मानते हो. There is parts in our body where you can get things out, but you cannot put in. Can you give me one example? Any part in our body that puts things out but cannot take in? Can anybody give me example?
Ma'am, eyes.
Fantastic. You can cry, you cannot put tears back. What else? What else? Fatafat. और भी है. Come on, your entire body. Your skin. Perspiration जाता है. वापस डाल सकते हो उसको. Moisturize करते हो, नहाते हो, but it doesn't take it in. It's just moist. It doesn't, बाहर से पानी अपने आप सोख नहीं कर लेता वो. So there are parts of the body. So if God wanted to stop it, God might have stopped it, but God did not. Yeah, same way vagina का same function है. Baby उसमें से बाहर आता है, but कुछ जाता भी है उसके अंदर. So this whole thought, that popular feeling, because majority of us are thinking in certain way, living in certain way, we assume that is the right way to go. ज़्यादातर ट्रांसजेंडर कहाँ देखे हैं आप लोगों ने? एक तो नाचने में बताया कीर्ति जी ने, और कहाँ देखे हैं ट्रांसजेंडर? Where have you seen transgender? Quick. Somebody. आपने कहाँ देखे हैं ट्रांसजेंडर? हिजड़े कहाँ देखे हैं? Okay. ट्रेन में, yes. रेड लाइट पे, yes. चाइल्ड बर्थ के बाद, yes. Okay. रेलवे स्टेशन, रेड लाइट्स, करेक्ट. फेस्टिवल्स में, ट्रैफिक, all everywhere. आपने so called men women को कहाँ देखा है? सिर्फ मैरिजेस में, सिर्फ फेस्टिवल में, सिर्फ ट्रैफिक सिग्नल में देखा है? No, you have seen them in offices, in functions, in political environment, in industries, everywhere. Why transgender don't do this? क्यों उनमें अक्ल नहीं है कि वो इंडस्ट्री में काम करें? Why don't they do that? क्यों नाचने गाने जाते हैं? क्यों सिग्नल पे भीख मांगते हैं? Why? Can somebody tell me? Yes, Ramita, you have seen them outside India representing India, but that would be 3, 4, 5 transgenders, not many. लेकिन men देखो बर्बर के हैं, women देखो बर्बर के हैं. Why? Why is this? It is not their gender role. Who decided? Akshita, can you speak up if you don't mind? You think it is their gender role to? आप unmute करके बताएंगे, Mike? I like that answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's their gender role because I think like they are expected to be there in marriages, right? कि वो आएंगे, so it will be a good luck. So it's coming from the society. It's not like they're born with it and they just have to do it.
Okay.
But it's a gender role. It is given to them by the society, by the so-called culture, by the books, or like we have like seen movies and all. जब जोधा अकबर में मतलब there were some people from the Hijra community who would
Yeah.
stay with the queens and everything, so it's their
Correct.
expected
Harem,
role.
harem में करते थे वो. None of this is expected. आप मुझे बताइए किसी भी शादी में जो ट्रांसजेंडर नाचने आते हैं वो पैसे मांगते उतना हम देते नहीं देते, उससे कम करके देते, चिल्ला चिल्ली ये वो उसके बाद देते हैं. Ramita, you want to say something? Ramita?
Yes, ma'am. As a speaker before me pointed out, that's the given gender role to them. And what I'm saying is they are well represented in the US, because if we talk about Bruce Jenner, he was an athlete, a man who transformed into a trans woman. He found his identity. She found her identity. Now she goes by Caitlyn Jenner, and not only her, there are many people in America, and there's one transgender woman who was elected to the U.S. Senate. I don't remember her name. I just read in the news.
Recently, not
Yeah,
US, in Netherlands, yes. But
there was one in this election. There was one who was elected right now.
ये
From
यहाँ पे भी है, आपको पता है, इंडिया में भी है.
I had no idea.
That's precisely what I'm saying. India में in Hyderabad, one of the corporate is हम उसको नानी बोलते हैं, लेकिन मैं उसका नाम भूल गई, मरियम नानी और somebody. So एक पुलिसमैन भी है इंडिया में. लक्ष्मी को जानते होंगे आप लोगों ने, अभी अक्षय खन्ना के साथ आई, अक्षय कुमार के साथ कपिल शर्मा के शो में भी आई थी. This 1, 2, 3, 5, there are like that. But that is people we can count on our fingers. That's not transgenders. Okay, let me quickly say about the role, given role, gender role. Absolutely not true. There was a time when transgender, and that is also protection. Okay, let me retrace myself and let me say what I wanted to say. So basically, the biggest issue with transgender is the exploitation, bullying, and harassment in educational institutions. They don't drop out, they are pushed out. There is rape, there is violence, there is bullying, there is, वो कितना भी पढ़ना चाहते हैं वो नहीं पढ़ पाते हैं because they are harassed in schools and colleges big times. And if you listen to things, I mean, I know a lot of women who are here would know themselves that there are probably 60%, analysis says there is about 60% women who has ever faced a mild sexual harassment to a full abuse. So same way, transgenders, I've yet to find enough transgender who say कि मुझे कुछ नहीं हुआ है, मुझे कभी किसी ने exploit नहीं किया. They are pushed out of the education system. When you don't have education, you have very limited options. जो गाते हैं, जो सिग्नल पे करते हैं, सिग्नल पे कमाने से कौन इतना मेकअप अफोर्ड कर सकेगा? They also have to double up to do sex work at nights, during days, different time, because that is the only way to survive. किसी को अच्छा नहीं लगता constant नाचना, किसी को अच्छा नहीं लगता constant भीख मांगना, but there are limited choices there. There is a reason. So because I don't have education, why do I have one Simran? Why there is one senator? Why there is one? हम men women के बारे में क्यों ऐसा बात नहीं करते? Oh, there is one senator. No, because there are in thousands. They have opportunities. They get options. But transgenders don't get option, and therefore, जिस जमाने में, and let me just now quickly say, डेरा क्यों बनता था? And traditionally, it was good. So to ensure that there is an option for them, there were these families. इसलिए उनकी आशीर्वाद लेना, उनका ये लेना करके, the society created an environment. That's why it is told कि इंडिया में तो transgender were very well accepted. They were in harems, like somebody mentioned. Again, वो तो Mughals लाए थे. It is not again traditional Indian. Traditional Indian, if you see, very respected transgender. Anybody knows in mythology, Indian mythology, कोई transgender है? Anybody knows? Indian mythology.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
मैम जब रामायण में जब राम जा रहे थे वनवास के लिए, तो बहुत सारे जो मतलब विलेज के मेन या वुमेन, स्त्री पुरुष वहां रुक गए थे. तो राम ने बोला था कि आप जो भी है स्त्री और पुरुष, उन्होंने मेंशन करके बोला था
महिला और पुरुष वापस आए.
तो जब वो वनवास से वापस आ रहे थे तो वहां पे कुछ थे लोग, तो फिर उन्होंने ये बोला कि हम तो ना स्त्री है ना
स्त्री
पुरुष
है ना पुरुष है. Very good. Yes.
तो Ram ji also accepted them,
Correct.
but socially we don't accept, and they don't need
Correct.
any kind of sympathy from us basically.
Yes, they need support. और महाभारत में है कोई? Anybody knows? प्रज्ञा? प्रज्ञा हुडा?
Brinalla.
Sorry? Brinala. Yes. Shikhandi, Brinala. Who else? Shreya?
Ma'am, I had to say the same.
Okay.
Sikhandi.
Pragya? Okay. If everybody remembers, again, even if you don't, if you're not from this context, so for 14 years, 13 years, Pandavas were asked to stay in Vanvas, and then 14th year, they had to be in disguise. What did Arjuna be at that time? Yes, yes, Shreya, very good. So Arjuna was a kinnar. Kinnar is neither man nor woman. So original transgender को किन्नर इंडिया में बुलाते थे. वो बोलते कि हम women नहीं हैं, हम किन्नर हैं. Kinnars are people who please men, who please kings and royal family. So and traditionally, again, I don't know if you have heard about Jogappa, Jogti. ये सारे traditional transgender, religious transgender. So Jogtis and Jogappas, again, transgender is also a big umbrella. When we worked in Pehchan, we had 16 different categories. Transgender is an umbrella term, लेकिन अपने यहाँ religion, so Hijra है, Jogti है, Jogappa है, मुरली, बाघा मुरली है, अलग-अलग region के हिसाब से किन्नर है, येलम्मा है, अलग-अलग अपने region में, India में, there were 16 different types. And we realized that जैसे women को देवदासी बनाते हैं, ऐसे men को दे देते हैं और उनको बोलते हैं जोगप्पास or jogtis. And so there is traditionally Indian culture में this was accepted, it was supported. और ये भिक्षा देना, उनका आशीर्वाद लेना was made so that उनकी भी चले. As the civilization changed, as education has increased, we are still not changing certain things. We have changed things which is conducive to us, but not conducive to them. उनको पढ़ने के लिए कोई opportunity create नहीं किया. You know, there is a so मैं जो project के बारे में बात करती थी, पहचान project के बारे में, उसमें it was a big project and there were some questions that, you know, you were supposed to follow the HR rules, human resources rules. Why you have taken this out and why did you appoint people by call? क्योंकि हमारा तो बहुत बड़ा organization है, तो system रखना पड़ता है. But when you have to give special opportunities, you have to create situations. जैसे women's empowerment की बात है, men, women are same. Why can't women come on their own? But they need special support because for years they have been suppressed. Once they come to a certain level, वो फिर अपने आप कर लेंगे. So recently transgender bill bhi aaya hai. Everybody understands the difference between equality and equity, right? Yes, no? Tell me quickly, because I think we are running out of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everybody knows the difference. Yes, everybody says. Okay, so transgender needs equity, not equality. Equality से सब ऊपर आएंगे, लेकिन जो नीचे है वो नीचे से थोड़ा ऊपर आएंगे, लेकिन ऊपर वाले ऊपर ही रहेंगे. Until, so the social work definition that I say is we need to redistribute power, resources, and opportunities to make people who are vulnerable and downtrodden much more powerful. If there is a second opportunity, I will bring some of my transgender colleagues with me and I will kind of introduce you to them. It does take insecurity में बहुत time रहे हैं, तो थोड़ा सा support करना पड़ता है, especially when you work with them, थोड़ा सा extra mile you need to go. But all of them are equally and more capable as you and me. And once you give them an opportunity, you will see that. I am coming to the end of my session. If there is any specific question, and again, Dr. Ruchi, I don't know, sorry, Dr. Shuchi, I don't know when should I stop, and I was under impression that this is still 1 o'clock, so I just thought
Yes, ma'am, but definitely an hour session is not doing justice to the great knowledge and practicing experience you have. But we may just take a couple of questions and then wrap the session.
Sure.
And we must meet for another session with your transgender colleagues, and we must have more interaction in future. So,
Sure, I would also want to give a little more scientific information also, but this time I thought it's too early. We can go to questions.
okay, so students, we would just be able to take a couple of questions, and rest of the questions we will forward to ma'am, and ma'am would be kind enough to answer those to us. So ma'am, you may just take a couple of questions.
Sure.
Which you feel.
So there is, Sushmita has sent a question saying that, have you worked with transgender children? I would not call them children, but yes, I worked with as young as about 12-year person. But often when I ask, so day before yesterday, I was talking to a trans man, a woman who feels like a trans man. She's right now 16-year-old, and my first question was, when did you realize that you are in a wrong body? And she said, when I was 3 years old. So there are trans children, if that is the question. Personally, I have limited experience with that. Gagandeep, go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Very good afternoon.
Ma'am, could you please give us an insight about trans men bleeding and how menstruation is not just limited to cis women?
Correct.
I just came across this concept just a few days ago, so I'd like to ask you this.
Gagandeep, again, I'm telling you, most of the trans men are born with woman's body. So their body is woman. They will bleed. You know, and again, in India, although we have enough doctors now, in India, there are very limited good quality doctors. So there are two types of surgery trans men would go. A woman who wants to become a man, there's a top surgery and bottom surgery. Top surgery is relatively easy. Lot of good doctors to do this. Bottom surgery, very complicated. And therefore, usually they do the tubulation, cauterize the tubes. And so they will stop menstruating. But let me tell you, the worst exploitation, the worst torture is to trans men. Women are raped, who say that, acha, tujhe lagta hai tu ladka hai, le, dekh le. And of course they will bleed because their body is woman. So unless they go through operation, physical operation, that will happen. So that's very natural. There is nothing unnatural. And people make a joke of it, but we need to be a little more sensitive to that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Also, can we have Anurag's input in this as well? Because you've been working in this field.
Yes.
So that will be great. Before we take our last question.
I think, as Sonal said, it's very normal and natural. There is no rocket science to it. I'm a man. I have a man's body. I cannot menstruate. A trans man is someone who was born as a girl, as Sonal told you, and so he would menstruate until unless he goes under the surgery. So there is nothing abnormal about it. It's very natural. And recently, very recently, started working with the transgender people on this field, because during this pandemic, I got calls from every part of this country asking for sanitary napkins. One of those calls was that, can we have sanitary napkins because we want to distribute it amongst transgenders. And that is when we started, our intervention with the transgender men who were born as women. And that is something that people ignore. That is something that people do not even consider at times. When we talk about menstruation, we just think and we just say, okay, women. But there are so many transgenders also who are menstruating, and it's very natural. I mean, there is no rocket science to it. So I don't think there's anything more to be said apart from what Sonal said already. So yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for answering.
Thank you, students. Sonal, ma'am, you wanted to say something, and I just stopped you in between, I felt. So maybe we have some closing remarks from your side before we call it a wrap, and after that, Anurag, maybe just say a couple of...
No, I was just going to say, yes, Anurag's input would be useful. Thank you. I really enjoyed this session, and I'll be happy to come again with you.
That would be great, really great, ma'am, and Mr. Anurag Chauhan. And I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Anurag ji and Sonal Mehta ji for this session and for taking out time for engaging with our students, because we generally see that, this level of engagement generally students miss as well. So I must say it was one of the most important session of the course, and thank you for talking about visibly invisible people. And I congratulate our respected resource person who made a mark to reiterate the importance that gender is very much beyond male and female in academic discourse as well as in their practical lives, and making us more aware and more unbiased towards the same. So we ourselves are fighting with our own biases, and I'm sure students were also able to locate their own biases and then in future would try to fight and smash such biases. Thank you so much, Ms. Sonal Mehta ji and Mr. Anurag Chauhan ji, for such a wonderful session, and we definitely look forward to have you for more such session and more such engagements with our students in future. Thank you very much. So as we end this session, students are requested to come back at 4 p.m. For the session on gender, culture and travel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Dr. Shuchi.
Pleasure. I really hope that we bring this, whatever we're talking about, whatever Sonal and I talked about, I just hope that it does not remain just here on this Zoom call. I hope after knowing about whatever we said, you will implement this in your lives. And I hope you will take this as an individual social responsibility. We often talk about corporate social responsibility. We always talk about the responsibilities of the government, but I hope we individually need to take responsibility for everything that's happening around us and make sure that we raise our voice whenever we see something wrong. I'd like to end this by a very, very short incident that happened with me at the age of fortunate. I met Dalai Lama, and His Holiness, when he was sitting next to me, I was crying for no reason. My tears couldn't stop. And I don't know from where I asked him this question, because as a 15-year-old, I was not spiritual. I was not into meditation. There was nothing. But I asked him this question. I said, where do I find Buddha? And he said that each time that there's someone who's smiling, for that fraction of moment when that person is smiling, you are Buddha. So you do not need to go find him. So I hope each one of you will spread smiles around you, will go and find opportunities to help women, men, transgenders, anyone who's in need of your help. Please do help them. Please take an initiative to do that. Thank you so much. And once again, Forum for Democracy, you're doing a great job. And this is very important what we heard from Sonal today. And I hope we all understand and we all break these myths, we all break these taboos, and we go ahead and have an equal country, equal world.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining and making this event a truly memorable one. Thanks, everyone.